So the next thing that we're going to talk about is approaches. And this is basically, we're talking about what the graph is doing as it goes either towards a particular value or out towards the edges of the graph. Now I'm going to rewrite this first one and put it with a picture so that you can see what exactly this statement is saying, okay? So here was that first statement as x, and then we had an arrow 3 with a little negative symbol, comma, f of x, arrow, infinity. Now, picture-wise, here's what's going on. Okay, so this is picture-wise what's going on. Now, how this reads is as x, the arrow means the word approaches. So as x approaches 3. Now, here's the issue. With the number 3, and so we're basically doing as the graph gets close to 3. The problem is this side of the graph is going someplace different than this side. So we need to indicate which direction. So the little negative means that we're coming from the left. So the idea here is we get on the graph and we are coming this way. As we get close to the number 3, this graph, sorry, that should say negative. Okay, this graph starts going downwards. So f of x, the graph, approaches negative infinity. It's going downwards, okay? Now, we can also have as x approaches 3 with a little plus sign, and that's going to mean from the right. So if we got on the graph this way and came towards 3 from the right-hand side, the graph is going. So that's approaching infinity. Now, we can also do the edges of the graph. So we can do as x approaches negative infinity. Okay, now there's only one way to head towards negative infinity, and that's this way. And what's happening here is this graph is actually taper tailing up towards this x-axis. So f of x is actually getting really close to 0. Okay, so our graph function is getting really close to 0. And then we also have as x approaches positive infinity, so that's going out here. Again, we see that same taper tail happening over here. We have f of x approaches 0, okay? So you can have approaches as you're going to particular values, 3, and or any value, and then you can have from the right or from the left. And then you can also have the graph head out towards the edges or out towards a negative infinity or a positive infinity.